What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the Bianconeri zone, where we are not going to talk about Calafiori because I know people are panicking because Nico Schira said Bologna are asking for 50 million euros and Tottenham and Arsenal have asked for information. We're not going to do that right now. Calafiori is at Euros. The club can do absolutely nothing. They did what they had to do. Agreement with Calafiori in place. And now is to see if they can find an agreement on the price tag. Even though the price tag went from 30 to 50 in 10 days, that's also bullshit. That means actually nobody really knows what the value is and everybody's kind of guessing. But we're not going to talk about Calafiori. We're going to talk about the Di Lorenzo deal that is taking so many twists, and I'm not sure why we got involved because we need to talk about it, and nobody can really explain to me why we're actually in for for Di Lorenzo, excuse me, because Di Marzio came out saying that, hey, his agent met with Napoli and it went pretty well. It went pretty well, better than expected. And in the next couple of days, they will resume talks. Then I heard his agent speak, in front of, I think Sport Italia was interviewing him. And I was like, I'm not sure what Di Marzio said right here, but his agent didn't sound like an agent that just agreed peace terms basically with Napoli at all. And then Pedula came out saying, hey, it's all BS. Nothing changed. He still wants out. We shouldn't be signing Di Lorenzo. We're getting involved in a deal that's not in a saga. Yeah, kind of a saga. We shouldn't be getting involved in because he's not a good defender. I've said it so many times. As a player, I never rated him. As a defender, I think he's poor. Going forward, he brings nothing. And on the ball, it's shaky as hell. Forget about the Euros because he's been dreadful at the Euros. But just in general, he's not good. And if you need to give him a deal until 28, because that's the rumors on 3 million and 3.5 million something, plus an option until 29, that's insane. If Giuntoli makes that deal happen, I'm starting to have doubts. I don't know it's one deal, but I will have serious doubts about what you actually want for this club. I don't care that you are good friends with Di Lorenzo or whatever. Just use your eyes and just look at the books and the finances. It doesn't add up. We shouldn't be in for Di Lorenzo. I hope Napoli can convince his agent that he needs to stay to stay, because we should not be in for a player like Di Lorenzo. We should absolutely not be in the race to sign Di Lorenzo. I'm not even sure how to stress it. I'm actually weird that I need to talk about it, but that should be just common knowledge. Yes, we need to shore up, the fullback position, but it shouldn't be with Di Lorenzo. But it's gonna be an entire saga until, especially after Euros. Then it will be very clear that is there room for him to actually stay at Napoli, or is he like, no, I'm completely gone? And on top of that, we need to pay Napoli 25 million euros. That's just, oh my God, even the thought about that makes me kind of sick. But that's it, Di Marzio saying, hey, sounds pretty good. And Alfredo Pedula, who was very good on Juve News, extremely good this season, is like, nah, nothing really changed. So that is a big worry. But on to the deal that we're trying to seal, and that's Thuram. I will read out a news piece from Giovanni Albanese. I haven't done that for a while. But he said that Nice is open to include a player as part of the deal for Thuram, but they would prefer a young talent they can develop. Juve has several next-gen players who are ready to make the leap, with Nonge being a favorite name. Pedula came out, said BS. Nonge is not being included in the deal at all. Like right now, they didn't even speak about Nonge. They are talking about cash because Nonge could be moved on later on in the season, in the summer transfer window, excuse me. Nice won 25 million euros. Pedula says the club is kind of convinced that they can get it done for 18, and this has nothing to do with Rabiot. If Rabiot is going to stay or not, they are kind of sick and tired with Rabiot saying that, hey, if you're not giving an answer, we're actually moving on. We are just going to push on for a replacement that's Thuram. If you're going to say, good, then Thuram is here. If you're not going to say, then good, Thuram is here. Kind of to put some pressure on Rabiot. But even then, like, if you had an agreement with Rabiot that he was going to tell you what he was going to do before the Euros, you should be making clear that, hey, you didn't do that. It's done. Goodbye, buddy. Because we're waiting on Rabiot on 8 million season. We're not waiting on Zinedine Zidane right here. And I know it's a joke to say, but that's what we're trying. Like, that's how it feels. We're waiting on a star player. He's not that great. He's not a poor player, but he's not a player we should be waiting for. We're like, oh my God, this is gonna collapse completely. We cannot play on without Rabiot. That should not be the case, but that's the case. So it's good that they're moving for Thuram, I guess. But it still bothers me that we are waiting so long for Rabiot to just say, yeah, please yes or please no. It's sad, but it's a reality. Now let's move on to Moise Kean, because that's kind of the breaking news, or not the breaking news, because I talked about it 4 days ago from Padula, saying that Fiorentina, the Palladino, sees him as a number one choice. And now Romano coming out and Matteo Moretto saying that for Fiorentina, he is the top target. No real talks, but talks will start soon. Moise Kean has already said, yeah, I want to join Fiorentina. Now, we need to make around 10 million euro plus minus 2 million to look good on the books, you know. And the issue with Fiorentina is they know that they're gonna lowball us. They're gonna try to lowball us. He also has a contract until a contract on 3.5, 3.2 million euros, which is a lot of money for a player who has one goal in more than a year. That's a shitload of money, even for a club like Fiorentina, where you're like, okay, he is a top target, but if you look at his stats, is that a player you want to pay 3.5? Is Moise Kean willing to take a big pay cut? We need to move on Kean. It was a bad deal to actually bring him in. It happened. We cannot do anything about it up to this point, where we actually are trying to move him on, but he needs to leave. And I think that was just the wrong thing to bring him back. It completely flopped. Like it's a massive flop from top to bottom. From the money we paid, 30 plus million, insane, to the wages, a complete flop. And then the last bit of news is, excuse me, the Sciglio. Unbelievable. He's still at the club, but it's over. Because Nico Schira saying that it will come to an end, you know, his time at Juve this season. He has a contract until 25. There will be no termination because the club will try to make some money on that deal. He's thinking about the options. He wants to stay in Italy, but he's also open to move abroad. I said it at the time. People know it when if you have been watching this channel for years. The moment he signed that new deal, I said it's ridiculous. 1.5 million euros or 1.5 euros. That's a player that should not be at the club for injuries, for ability. No, it's a waste of money. It's a waste of money, and it was a complete waste of money. Yes, a long-term injury, but forget about that. He is injury prone. That was ridiculous. It was just a waste of money. So now you need to get rid of him, move on, start fresh, get a replacement in, and we keep this thing rolling, because I'm not sure how he survived 7 years at the club. That's unbelievable, but it's actually the case. He did. So that's probably the good news. That's how we're going to wrap this one up. Everybody, thanks for watching. Like the video as always. Subscribe to the channel, and I will speak to you guys very, very soon. Ciao.